Hello everyone, welcome to weekly lecture videos. This week our topic is interest rates, bill and bond valuation, and we are covering chapter 6 this week. As usual, we have a few learning objectives. So in this chapter, we will mostly learn about bills and bonds, their features, how bills and bonds are valued, and the effect of inflation on interest rate, as well as the term structure of interest rates. And I will be uploading one video explaining each of the learning objectives. So in this video, I cover learning objective 1, where we will discuss the features of different types of bills and bonds. So first of all, let's start with the bill of exchange and bill valuation is the broad topic. When a corporation wishes to borrow money on a short-term basis, it usually does so by issuing or selling either bill of exchange or promissory note. Government short-term borrowing is undertaken by selling treasury notes. So in this section, we are mostly going to learn about the bill of exchange. So a bill of exchange is a negotiable instrument that is simply a document that X will pay an amount of money to the holder of the bill at a future date. Okay, so bill of exchange have been around for many years and are legally covered by the Bill of Exchange Act. For example, in Australia, it is covered by Bills of Exchange Act 1909, and in New Zealand, Bills of Exchange Act 1908. A bill is defined as an unconditional order in writing addressed by one person to another, signed by the person giving it, requiring the person to whom it is addressed to pay on demand or at a fixed or determinable future time a sum certain in money to or to the order of a specified person or a bearer. So you understand that the ownership of the bill is with the holder, that means the bearer, and can be passed on or sold to another person. Okay, so a bill usually does not carry a specific interest. Rather, the borrower will receive something less than the face value of the bill, and with the difference being the interest the lender earns on the bill, which means that the issuer will be issuing it at a discounted price, and at the maturity will be paying the face value. So the difference is the cost of fund for the issuer, whereas the difference is the return for the investor. Okay, now let's understand some terminologies associated with bill of exchange. Now, look, a bill of exchange will have a face value. So what is the face value? Face value is the amount that will be paid at the end of bill's term. Okay. So for example, a borrower is issuing a bill of exchange with a face value of 100,000. It means that this is the face value which will be paid at the maturity. However, the issue price will be different than that. Okay, and the bill of exchange will have a maturity. And I think all of you understand that the maturity is the number of days until the face value will be paid off. Okay, so bill of exchange are usually short-term instruments. As a result, its maturity could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 180 days. Once the bill has been issued, the number of days to maturity declines as the time goes by. Similarly, the bill approaches its maturity dates, its value rises. Okay, because you understand that it will be issued at a discounted price and the face value will be paid at maturity. So as the time passes, the value will increase and it will be equal to the face value at the maturity. And this is how we calculated the value of a bill when it is issued or any day before the maturity. Yield is the rate of return that investor earns by investing in a bill of exchange. Okay, so look at this example. Suppose the Aetna data company were to issue a bill with a face value of 500,000 and 90 days to maturity with a yield of 6.5%. The acquirer of the bill would receive 500,000 in 90 days time. So what would this bill sell for? So you can see that Aetna data company is essentially issuing this bill and it has a face value of 500,000, which means that the acquirer or the investor of the bill will receive 500,000 at the maturity, which is 90 days. Okay. The question is at which price the bill will be sold now. Okay. So we need to find out the present value, 500,000 divided by 1 plus the interest rate. And you can see that the 6.5% is an annual rate. That's why we divide it by 365 to get the daily rate and multiply by 90 so that we get a 90-day rate. Okay. The present value is 492,112. So which means that at this moment, the bill should be sold at 492,112. So that's the money an investor will be providing to buy this bill. So Aetna company received this amount, but at the maturity, 500,000 will be paid. The difference is the cost of fund or cost of money for Aetna, whereas the difference is the rate of return or the interest for the investor or the acquirer of the bill. Okay, now more on bill features. Essentially, there are 3 parties to a bill of exchange. Okay, so you see the parties are drawer, the acceptor, and the discounter. Okay, the discounter is also sometimes known as endorser. Now, carefully try to understand the role of each of these parties. The drawer is the party that wants to borrow the funds. So drawer is essentially the issuer of the bill. Okay, this party draws up the bill. Okay, and is required to sign the face of the bill. Okay, so for example, in our previous example, Aetna data company, they were the issuer, so they were the drawer. Okay, now once a bill is drawn up, the second party is the acceptor. Okay, so acceptor is the one who agrees to pay the face value of the bill at maturity. Okay, now you can be confused that why the acceptor is there, the drawer is raising the money, so should be paying. Well, acceptor essentially is another party who is guaranteeing the payment. Okay, so acceptor is guaranteeing the payment. And it is because the acceptor's financial strength that the investor will be ready to buy this. Okay. The acceptor will charge a fee to the drawer for performing these acceptor services. And the last party to the bill is the discounter or the endorser. The discounter is the party that initially lends the funds, or discounter is the party that actually is an investor in the bill, so that they purchase the bill. Okay, and now discounter can sell the bill anytime to a third party or can hold the bill until the maturity. Okay. Now, look at if you look at this figure, so drawer essentially is the issuer. Okay, once the bill is issued, then it has to be accepted by an acceptor. Acceptor is a party that's guaranteeing the payment, and then it will go to the discounter. Okay, discounter essentially is the investor who is investing the money. Okay, and as I said, that acceptor will receive a fee for this service. And at the time of payment or at the time of maturity, as I said, the discounter may hold this bill until the maturity or can sell it to another investor. Now, the holder who is holding the bill at the maturity will go to the acceptor. Okay, will go to the acceptor to get the money, and acceptor is legally obliged to pay. Okay, and acceptor will recover this payment from the drawer, who is the issuer of the bill. Okay. So I think you understand that how these the bill of exchange works. Now, a couple of other short-term funding instruments. First of all is a promissory note. Promissory notes are simply promises to pay a lender an amount of money in the future and are issued for short terms. Okay. The default risk means the risk of not being repaid of promissory note depends on the financial strength of the issuer. Okay. So for example, if you're a company, if you're issuing promissory note, an investor will be buying this promissory note. So you are essentially promising to your investor that you will repay this money. Legally, it is an unconditional promise by an issuer to pay an agreed sum of money at a fixed or determinable future time to a specific person. Okay, in the promissory note, there is no acceptor, so it's a direct relationship between the issuer and the investor. The valuation of a promissory note is the same as the bill of exchange, as it's no explicit interest rate, so it is issued at a discount and the face value is paid back at the maturity. Another one is a bank overdraft. A bank overdraft is an agreement under which a firm is authorized to overdraw its bank account up to a specified amount. Okay, so if you have a bank account, you may have a bank overdraft agreement, so you will be allowed to withdraw more than what you have in your bank. Okay, so in this case, the borrower is required to make sure that their bank balance fluctuates by periodically drawing down the overdraft up to the limit and then repaying some or all of it. Okay. Banks like to see the overdraft being used, but not necessarily to its limit at all times. Okay. So this is the end of our discussion of learning objective 1, where we have learned about different short-term funding instruments and their features. Okay, thank you very much. So watch the next video for our discussion on the learning objective 2 of chapter 6. Thanks again.